Thank you very much, Paul. RRS investors, it's lovely to be here to share the Trek Metals story with you. As Paul said, we're very much in the leverage to success space. We are a high-risk, high-return frontier mineral exploration company. And importantly, we've got the drill rig spinning up in the Kimberley. The picture here is taken from a couple of weeks back, and you can see we're exploring for gold, and it's undercover. So as you can see, there's no outcropping rocks there. And so this is where we really believe the next round of big mineral discoveries are going to come from areas under shallow cover. And I've got a bit of a video to share with you up first. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as me. I really love my job, getting out there and exploring, looking for that next big mineral discovery. And as a technical exploration geologist, my father was an exploration geologist, I've always been really interested in, what drives a mineral discovery. And I think I've boiled it down to three things. It's access to really good projects. So you need to be out, I feel, you got to take the risks, go out where other people haven't been exploring, go out into those frontier locations where you've got a really high chance, of finding something big. And then you need also access to capital. You need to be able to have the ability to raise the funds to go out and do the work. You need the ability, so you need a board and management with the skills to be able to identify regions, targets, and then go through all the processing through the permitting to get out there and test those targets. And then, of course, the last thing is action. You're never going to find anything if you're not out there drilling holes. And, as Paul said, we've got a drill rig out in the field at the moment. We're doing an 8,000 metre RC program at our Christmas Creek project. Here's a photo from earlier in the year when we drilled a project in the Pilbara region. And so the two projects I want to talk about today, Christmas Creek in the Kimberley region of Western Australia, and then an earlier stage application that we've got in a really hot address that's completely underexplored in Central Australia, which is our McEwen Hills niobium copper gold project. So starting off with Christmas Creek, it was originally staked by a guy called John Ronsky, and he came up with the target of its two Proterozoic origins where they collide, the King Leopold and the Halls Creek, and then the big structures through the Tanami, which is a world-class gold district, where the triple junction of all those structures, but it's all obscured by Canning Basin sediments. So there's no historic prospecting style exploration out there. Newmont were out there for 6 years, spent $6 million, did an enormous amount of work and generated some great targets, and that's what we're following up now. So this heat map is soil geochemistry, looking at the gold. So all the hot areas, the reds, are the gold in soil. And so there's four main target areas, prospects that have been identified: Coogan, Martin, Zarn and Willis. And we're out there drilling right now at all four. Willis, never been drill tested. You know, you've got a several kilometre long strike length there, you know, really strong multi-element geochemistry. So really excited to see what we get there. Zarn, the largest gold anomaly, was actually, it was drilled and didn't get any gold in the only 3 RC holes, but at the time that they were drilling, they extended the soil profile to the north and they identified another big target sitting directly north, so we're drilling that. Martin, they got some good grades and we're doing extensional drilling there. Some of the good grades were, you know, on the ends of drill lines. Coogan is an absolutely stonking anomaly. It goes for kilometres and kilometres. And we'll zoom in on that one in a second, but on the far bottom left, you can see those dots, the soil samples out there, were only 2 kilometres by 1 kilometre spacing. So we've had a team out there earlier this year collecting 1,500 soil samples to really generate that next round of drill targets. But to jump into Coogan, this is, again, is the gold heat map of soils, and there's the 2 drill lines outlined in black, which basically straddle, bookend that 1 kilometre long hot gold anomaly in the soil. And the drilling results from that were wide but low-grade gold mineralisation. So, you know, 38 metres at 0.16 grams per tonne gold, and 34 at 0.18 grams on the other side. So you know, you don't just get that happening in isolation. You know, you've got a fertile gold system there. And the thoughts behind such wide drill spacing by Newmont was that you need, you know, for an orogenic system, you need kilometres of strike length. But when you look at the multi-elements here, it really seems more like a intrusion-related deposit where you've got some bismuth and other associated pathfinder elements. And my previous role before Trek, I was at the Greatland Gold Newcrest Havieron discovery, which is a big intrusion-related copper gold deposit, 8.4 million ounces, strike length of only 650 metres. So, you know, you've got miles of space there to make a world-class discovery. So the planned drill line there in blue, right through the centre, we completed that drilling a couple of weeks ago. The samples are en route to the lab as we speak. So I'll be really interested to see what we get there. At Martin, this is where it was, you know, really proof of concept at the project that the gold in soil anomalism really related to gold in the bedrock underneath. And so, you know, you can see some pretty good results there. 7 metres at 4.9 grams per tonne gold. There's a 2 metres at 9.65 grams. And they're just they're on the ends of lines. So it's unconstrained by drilling. So we've been putting in more holes around this to try and identify, you know, thicker, higher grade zones, more, you know, who knows what we'll find there. It's a huge footprint, 3 kilometres by 4 kilometres. This is Zarn, so the black dashed circle to the south. This was the initial target drill area based on first round of soils. Second, when the drilling was ongoing at Zarn in 2020, they also extended the soil profile around and really identified that new zone of gold to the north, sitting to the north. And it's, again, a huge target, over 2 kilometres long. It's structurally more interesting, that northern zone, because it sits at the edge of a gravity ridge. There's some clear structures in the magnetics, and we know that there's some intrusive rocks there as well as sediments, so you've got the rheological contrast. You know, there's lots of, you know, you need all these ingredients to make a big deposit. So I'm really excited to see what we get out of the assays when they come back in. But it's not just gold that we're looking at Christmas Creek. You know, we've got a large tenement package there. We're directly adjacent to the Cummins Range rare earth mineralised carbonatite, sitting only a couple of kilometres to the east of our project. So we looked at the soil data and saw that, you know, we've got a pretty good soil anomaly, rare earth soil anomaly, sitting to the south of Zarn. So we've stuck in a line of holes across that as well. The belt is also being heavily explored by IGO for both intrusion-related nickel, copper, cobalt, deposits and also lithium pegmatites. They've made a nickel discovery up on my old ground when I was at Buxton in the King Leopold origin. I know that there's some known LCT pegmatites along strike about 10 kilometres to the north of where we are. We've intersected some pegmatites in the drilling already, so obviously we'll be assaying them for lithium. Here is a zoom in of Cummins Range. This is a magnetic contoured image from CRA. So CRA were the guys that originally discovered Cummins Range, and they identified a number of other high priority targets around it. And the one that we're calling Price, Mag B153, is a cracking target. It's got scale. These mineralised carbonatite systems occur in clusters. They can be quite variably mineralised. So this one could have, really high niobium or really good NdPr ratio, or, so I'm excited to get out and drill test that one. We've got a heritage survey booked in to start in about 9 days on that one. So we're getting that drill ready. And speaking of niobium carbonatites, that segues in nicely to our McEwen Hills project in Central Australia. So this is a tenement application, so it's early days yet, but it's a really interesting region, and what really draws me to it is a couple of things. So WA1 is on the WA side of the border. They made a big niobium discovery out there, 200 million tonnes at 1%, so that's really world class. They had huge shareholder value creation there, rocketing from 10 cents to 15 bucks or more. Over $1 billion market capitalisation. More recently, Encounter, ANR, they've been intersecting some mineralised carbonatites too. The geology continues through the border onto the west, Northern Territory side, sorry. You can see by the map on above that in brown is all WA1's licences. They've just pegged everywhere on the Northern Territory side, so they believe that, this mineralisation carries through too. So I was out there earlier this year at an on-country meeting doing stakeholder engagement, and we're looking forward to progressing that through to grant. And there's never been a single drill hole on that area covered by that mineral exploration licence. There has been previous exploration licences there, but nobody's ever done any drilling. And so to have a Proterozoic belt, which is known for hosting, all sorts of world-class deposits elsewhere in Australia, that's seen little to no exploration is, in a world-class jurisdiction is, quite exciting to me, especially now that we've got so many explorers in the region on the WA side. There's a lot of drillers and earth-moving contractors, and it's become a lot easier to do exploration out there. So it all comes down to the team. Do we have the ability to get it done? So we're really lucky at Trek to have a really competent board of directors. We've got Tony Leibowitz, Neil Biddle and John Young, who were all founding members of the Pilbara Minerals team and really drove that value creation through the identification of lithium at Pilgangoora. And, so they've been a wealth of knowledge. They've been a really good source of capital and of projects. So I'm really fortunate to have them on the team. All Trek shareholders are. The capital structure, we've got 513 million shares on issue at 4.2 cents. That was a market capitalisation of 21.5 million. We've come off a little bit today, like most others, but certainly, from what Hedley said this morning, I think the whole junior industry is on sale. We had 4.7 million cash at bank at the end of last quarter, so we've got the money to get out there and do what we're doing. And like I said, it's all about action, and so we're all about money in the ground. So at Christmas Creek, we've done that big soil sampling program, extending and infilling known targets to get that next round of targets for drill testing. We're in the midst of our 8,000 metre RC program, doing first pass and extensional drilling. We're looking for other elements of interest, rare earths, lithium, nickel, copper. McEwen Hills, we're advancing that through to grant. We're going to do target generation with airborne and ground geophysics, then drilling. We also have some strategic partnerships with DevEx just recently on some of our non-core projects. So we've got a free carry, 30% free carry through to feasibility at our Jimble Bar and 20% at our Lawn Hill uranium. And so I can think of no better company than DevEx to get out there and get things done. If they make a discovery, Trek will be leveraged to that success as well. All right, that's it. Thanks for your time. Come and chat if you have any more questions.